When in your life did you develop an appreciation for the environment and for environmental stewardship?
Actually, in the late 60s, when I used to do lots of camping and being out in the nature, and then I had the opportunity to run for the Alameda County Board of Supervisors in 1972, and that was a major issue for me even then. I was doing something about the environment, trying to set aside as much land as I could for parks and recreation, and I had an appreciation for the problems of air pollution and some of the difficulties we have around water issues.
And how have you taken leadership on global warming?
Well, it's been a sort of a tripartite thing. I'm trying to individually, as a person and with a family, we've done everything we can. Everything from having a hybrid car, getting TVs, getting our house to be energy efficient, going around and finding every possible leakage of electricity that are through various plugs. I've done all that. I walk to work. I use public transportation like I never did before. So on a personal level, I'm doing everything I can to even recycling everything I can imagine. Recycling, I'm really fanatical about it. It's like it's the most important thing personally. For the city of Berkeley, as the mayor of the city of Berkeley, we're trying to make Berkeley the best it can be, the city itself. And we're talking now about city government, we're greening the city government, we're trying to get people out of their cars, we're trying to make sure that we set an example as a city for other cities. And that's the third part, is to providing leadership out of Berkeley. Because Berkeley is a place that, a laboratory for change, and we're taking that very seriously. We're trying to do whatever we can to come up with new ideas about how people can make changes in their own personal lives to do something about climate change and global warming. Because it's really a sum of a whole lot of small acts that will make a difference. And we're trying to convince people that they should get on that path.
Right, it's been said that we each are given one pixel of a picture, and that picture is a sustainable world. But one of those pieces might be Measure G. And if you could, I'd like you to talk a little bit about what Measure G is and what you think the major hurdles are to achieving Measure G in the near and the long term.
Measure G was a vote of the people of Berkeley that in 2006, November, to ask the city council, and the mayor in particular, to come up with a plan to deal with global warming, to make a reduction, an 80% reduction by 2050. So it became a mandate for action. So we've used that for everything we can to come up with ideas around various sectors in the city, around energy, around recycling, around doing something around transportation issues. And so we've used that to look at what we can do to advance global warming. So it's been a wonderful opportunity for us to have put together a program to get people to rally behind it and to make sure that the city moves in doing everything it can to make the planet a better place.
And what kind of national policies do you think will help your local initiatives? And what do you think is the role of local governance in the face of a global crisis?
Well, first of all, it'd be nice if they did anything at the national level. We need a change of leadership, and we need it today. But what they could do and what they should do is they should do something, everything they can to reduce carbon. And I think it shouldn't just be cap and trade, it should be mandatory reductions of carbon. And then the other thing they can do that we can't do on the local level is to deal with the automobile. We should make it so that the automobile is cleaned up. There's no reason why we can't have a clean motor. There's no reason why we can't invest in getting clean automobiles on the road, from electric to high plug-in hybrids to a variety of things. Raising the gas mileage, they should really take on the transportation sector as a major thrust of change at the national level. At the local level, we're where the rubber really meets the road. So we're the laboratory. We're the place where innovation and creativity can take place. So we need to continue to do that. We need to figure out ways of getting more and more homes energy efficient, making sure our buildings, as they're built in our cities, are energy efficient. And there's just a whole variety of things that we should do at the local level. And but we primarily need to push the envelope to see what is possible.
And speaking of buildings, how do you see the role of buildings in the fight against climate change?
Well, we know that a large percentage of the greenhouse gases actually comes directly from buildings. And so we need to, in Berkeley we estimate it's roughly 53%. So we need to do everything we can to go in, and where we have existing housing stock and existing buildings, we need to go in and retrofit them to make them as energy efficient as we can. do on sale. So when you sell your home or your business, you come in and make sure that it gets tightened up as much as possible to make it as energy as efficient as possible. New construction, the city of Berkeley has already said that all of our new buildings are going to be LEED silver. We need to tighten up our whole building standards, and what we're looking at is trying to get permission. We're Title 24, which is the baseline of what people have to do. We're saying we'd like to go 20% beyond that by 2020. So we're trying to do everything we can to get those buildings as tight as possible, energy as efficient as possible. We'd love to see solar, we'd love to see PVs, we'd love to see solar water, all of those things come to play. And eventually we'd like to be in a situation where we have zero carbon buildings. That's our goal.
What programs are you developing to facilitate green building in Berkeley?
Well, what we're doing right now is we have a thing called RECO, which is a due on sale provision, where we go do an energy efficiency check on buildings. We'd like to tighten that up. We'd like to make that a lot more efficient. We're also looking at a scheme to be able to put solar PVs on people's existing homes and existing buildings, and we're figuring out a financing mechanism that we think will be really important. That will allow people to have a long payout, a 20-year payout, and not be due on sale. So when they sell their home, they wouldn't have to have that mortgage come due, that financing. So we're very excited about that. We're trying to figure out ways to get people out of their car and trying to focus on the hardest part of all, which is to get people to change their personal habits. So we're working really hard to figure out ways of getting people to take charge of their own lives and to do something in their own way to reduce carbon. It's everything from walking to work one day a week, it's taking a bus, it's getting using public transportation, it's making sure they have energy efficiencies in their home, things of that nature. So that's really what our thrust is to try to provide leadership, but also to try to motivate people to take the change. People are aware of the problem. Now we want them to take the next step, which is to put that concern into action.
Al Gore has described global warming as a moral and spiritual challenge, not a political one. What does the climate crisis mean to you personally, and what do you think it means for humanity?
Well, I think I would go beyond his description of the problem. I think it's really a moral issue. I think it's really political, and I do think it's a spiritual and economic issue. I think it's all of those things. And I think it is the challenging issue of our times. I don't think there's any doubt about it, at least for me. So we have to do everything we can to make it happen. And I think that there's certain parts of the world where people don't really fully appreciate the fact that this is a crisis. This is not just something that is somehow or other going to be happening in the future. It's happening today. Today's actions that we take today will be the future. It will be either bright or not because of those actions. And I think that we need to do all we can to elevate the understanding of the issue, and then once people understand the importance of the issue, then to give them precise ways that they can personally make a difference. And I think that that's hopefully the long-term solution, is to give people the ideas that they can put into play in their own lives. And it's also very important for people to understand we're not talking about a diminishment of their lifestyle or their living standard. It's really just a change, and that change is a very positive change and can be very healthy in a way that makes a positive change that actually enhances the planet to have a better opportunity to be around for a while.